Hello, I'm the One Nerd. This is a channel for tutorials, web dev, game dev, and in today's episode I thought for this tutorial we'd do a little bit of a beginner's project really of a game engine called GameGuru. So the idea is that we're going to create a basic melee combat FPS dungeon game using GameGuru, which is like a sort of entry-level hobbyist games engine. I think it's probably a good way to get used to doing some design inside, interior spaces. You don't really need programming to do it, so it's sort of like a you can add programming, or you can add new scripts, but we're just going to look at some basic functionality within GameGuru, like creating a level, internal space, maybe an outdoor space as well, but yeah. Without further ado, let's dive into GameGuru and its tools. I apologise for the loud shirts. Maybe I do apologise, I don't know. Anyway, let's crack on with. You can download GameGuru from Steam. I think it's about £20. When you first open it up, you're just presented with this empty map. You can do like sculpting with it. So I guess I'll give a brief overview. So you got entity mode, which is like select. So you select these whenever you want to enter into different modes. Shaping mode shapes the terrain. So if we click back on that, it's going to shape the terrain, and then if we flatten it there, flattens the terrain again. But the first thing we're going to do actually is just use the builder tool and create indoor space, because we're creating a dungeon. We're going to create a dungeon level, so we'll do that first. Okay, so let's go to let's actually let our player start first. So we went on to markers, player start. This is where our player will start. We can also preview the level when we want to, whenever we want, which is quite useful. And there's a bunch of other markers we can add, which we'll probably go on to later, like for lights and various other things, end of game, etc. Okay, let's go to on the menu. We just want to start building our environment, so we go to builder, floor, make sure it's clicked, and then, oh yeah, I need to switch back to entity mode now. Add new site, floor, there we go. So now we've got this sort of grid we can work on. We've got some textures we can select here for the floor textures, and we've got some tools here so we can rotate the textures around with R. We can raise them up with page up. That, so it can go up a level, so like this, so you get multiple levels basically. And left mouse to place, shift and left mouse to undo what we've just done. So if we were going to have a dungeon level, we probably want we're just going to use the custom textures, because the standard textures, because we're just creating like a basic dungeon environment, I suppose. So the player is going to start in this environment. I'll probably move the player in a second. We're just going to create a simple rectangular room. Cool. So now I've selected wall. Now to select a wall, then click rotate. Oh, not wrong texture actually. Get rid of that. I want to create it with a different sort of texture for the wall. Not that. Okay. Doof, and then I go rotate, R to rotate. Okay, so just create our simple rectangular room. So to actually go around, if I right click the mouse, I can scroll it around. I can do WASD to move around. So I want to move the camera, I want to get a different angle maybe. Dun, left click to place it, of course. And let's create this as a closed off room. We don't want we want the player just to start off in an empty room basically. Okay, Good. And we have some columns in here as well, possibly, just to create a bit of interest, just to create a bit of variation as well. We'll also add some entities in here later, so it's not going to just be an empty room, as well as, of course, enemies later. We can do a top-down view, I think, actually. Yeah, like this. So this is going to be easier to. So I press G to toggle that. So that's like a top-down view, which makes it a bit easier just to place things like this, as opposed to in the freeform view. Okay, so to turn back to this view, free flight, and let's what's this? Let's add another room through here. So I'll maybe have a different floor in this room as well. So I'll just click here. It's a bit more of like an anti-chamber sort of room. Okay. There we go. Okay. This is like our anti-chamber. And I'll add some walls around here. Probably just the same. Start up. Wasn't that, was it? Selecting the texture here, this one, probably the same sort of texture, keeping it simple, it's more look to demonstrate the oh yeah, actually I need to get rid of that. Okay, rotate round, and then we'll probably have another, we'll probably have two rooms splitting off here maybe, so it's just maybe just one, I don't know. And then I'll go on the floor. Get rid of all this. So let's click test to see what it looks like now. Oh, yeah, because so we've got like a sort of basic room, no ceiling yet. We've got an environment. I've got no weapon. We can have that later. But we've got a sort of basic 2 rooms set up. Okay, so we also want to make it a bit better than that. It's just a bit, yeah, sort of okay. But let's give our player a weapon, maybe. So if I go to entity select, properties, so we're at click entity select, then on properties. So you can give the player a initial weapon, has weapon. You find where it says has weapon, and then you got like a predefined. So I think we're going to give him a sword. I think. Apply changes. Go to test. So this is a melee combat. Obviously, we're going to need the weapon. So we've got a sword now. We can swing that around. So we've got a little bit of a melee weapon now. Okay. Alright, so let's probably work on our how do you site? Something like here maybe. There we go. So we want to expand the area a bit. Add floor again. Oh, not that. That's wrong. Again, I was being silly with my. So let's just make this. I'll move that a bit actually. Just slightly. Like here, because there's a bit of texture. If you notice, there's a bit of texture overlap, which is causing some interlacing, which isn't good. Edit that. Okay, and sort of just let's maybe create a different texture in this room. Some more of a want a bit of variation. We don't want it all be the same. It's a bit boring if we do that. Okay, and then we'll just actually create a few different rooms in here we can go into. So just create. I'll just add the floor though for first. So this will be a room, and then we'll have maybe these because I don't need them. Wait. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Walls. Oh, what? Oh, I'm just getting mixed up there. There you go. Do find some different walls. Some just you can control Z to undo if you make any silly mistakes like I did there with your mouse positioning, and also I need to change that texture. Actually, it's not the texture I wanted, so I have to go over that again. Oh no, I've just doubled it over. Oh no, yeah, okay. Make like a double-sided wall. Okay. That was a bit of a cack-handed way to do it because I should have really done it like that first place, but I was just automatic mode, I guess. Forgot. Okay, so I'm just going to build up this, and then in a minute I'll just create a bit of a bigger. I mean, once we've got the basic environment in place, it's more a case of customizing it and making it look a little nicer. But for now, I just want to create. Let's say I'll create a little opening there. So I'm going to create another area, two other areas here, and maybe a third. So we'll add a new site. And probably just try and line it up properly. So it's a bit easier to line it up with this. I think you can view grid kind somehow. It's been a while since I actually used this engine. Just there we go. Move that a bit, I think, maybe. Entity select, move it a bit to the right. Edit. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's just add some floor again. Oh, it's a daisy. My bad. Add some floor. No, I don't want that, that's a bit off. Entity select, maybe just do that again actually. Oh no, there we go, so we can just grab this, line it up properly, and edit it again. There we go. So we'll just add another room in here. I'm just pasting down the texture, and then I'll have another wall here, and then I'll probably have another room here with enemies in. Not like that though, like this, something. And connecting chamber. Okay, and then a wall. Similar, just the same texture we're using everywhere else. Not going to get any awards for probably amazing graphics, but we'll try and make this look good once we get to that part. And add some subtle touches like lighting and let's add a wall there. Okay, good. Let's just save this at this point and call it dungeon game. Dungeon game. Should work hopefully. Yeah. Add another wall there, trying to keep it consistent with the openings. Okay, so basically you just repeat this. I might speed this part up possibly later, but just create another area here. I want to shift that a bit, it's a bit too overlapping. So shift this a bit along here, put it about there. That's better. So now I can just place some floor down. I'll have to move it probably a little bit. Entity edit. Shift that there. Edit again. There we go. Looks better. Let's just make sure that's not going through the floor. Yes, it is. So we need to get rid of that actually. Let's make this like that. Okay. Made this a big room. I'll put a lot of enemies in here, but not off that. Okay, we'll add a ceiling in a minute as well. Okay. Wall. So like this stage is a lot of repeating what we've already done, but that's just the nature of the thing. Okay, and maybe we'll just create a few more rooms and then leave it at that. Just create these final walls. Also remove the player, but I'll do that later. So I've got a few rooms. I'll create one opening here. Cool. Right. Or maybe I'll just leave that closed room itself. It opens two other places. I'll just leave it at that for now. I don't want to spend too long doing the same thing and it being boring. Get rid of that. Okay. So we want to obviously add ceiling. So I'll just age this up a bit. Give this a ceiling now. So I'll just give a different texture for the ceiling. Not that I need to make sure to, like I said, shift up. You want to make sure that you're on the correct plane, as it were. So I'll just do this. Okay. So I've got a page up to go to onto the next floor with the floor builder selected. And if I go up here, you'll see that I've got a ceiling now. Alright, go back to entity view. I want to select this entity and then do this page up again. Clear page up, and I want to paint the same texture and just go over this area for the ceiling in here. So you'll see that we can quickly just create the. I mean, it's a bit bland in some respects, but it's good for. This tool's not that bad for just learning how to. I mean, it's not anywhere as advanced as you get in like a sort of commercial engine. But for people just wanting to learn and create little games, it's quite good for that. There is a sort of spate of I'll make this the exit probably as well. There is a spate of these games with this engine being put on Steam for some reason, but I guess it's just people looking for. But it is fun just as a prototypal thing. It's actually quite good because you've got all these predefined assets you can use. It's quite fast just to prototype something, especially in the FPS sort of way. Okay, so I'm just doing that for this final area over this like grid. So if I now go into this, then I'll have to go in there again because I've not moved the player character yet. But if I go, the lighting's not really set up yet, but I'll find an entrance in here. Let's see, we've got a sort of makeshift dungeon set up now. I can hit, I can do that. Reacts to the. It's quite a nice look even. Reacts to the material I've put down there. Okay, so that's our dungeon built. I need to move this guy because he should be starting in the dungeon itself. Let's just check where he is. Let's just start about here. And then I'll modify the lighting and I'll show how to do that in a minute. I'm going to rotate him around. You just see where it says rotate there, and you just selected it and then you can rotate it around. Definitely don't need to scale it because it's the player character. Okay. We're not going to probably cover terrain too much because we're just making an internal space. Okay, so let's start adding some enemies basically. So we go add entities, and you get a bunch. Basically, with Play Canvas, you get a bunch of these predefined characters. Probably want something in the fantasy vein. So there's wizards, actually, probably something different. Maybe zombies. Everybody in Play Canvas uses zombies though, so maybe a barbarian, possibly. I think there's... oh, they've got dragons now. They didn't used to have dragons. That's new. That's a new thing, actually. We'll go for barbarians. We're fighting barbarians. So just add this guy here. Click on him, rotate him around. There we go. So we're fighting barbarians. So I don't know, we're a barbarian. We're fighting other barbarians. Let's go to his properties, see what he's got on there. Fantasy character, okay. Not exactly sure the default behaviour of that is, but we'll find out in a minute. You have to make him an enemy, probably, but... okay. Okay, so he's coming towards me. And he's hitting me, yeah, so it's just defaulted to an enemy behaviour. Which is good, that's what I wanted. Start fighting. It's pretty hard, actually. There we go, so we've got our first enemy in the game. And we'll just do a bunch of these guys. We can also change the strength, we can change the speed of him. Maybe make him a little bit faster to make it a bit more, so 100, so 100 before we go 100. 100 before we go 120. We can change the sound, we can customise basically how he behaves, but probably won't dive too much into that. I'm just making it simple for now. So maybe I'll add a few of these guys, or actually maybe. So we can also add a bunch of sort of props in the environment, which is going to be useful. So maybe medieval's a useful one because trying to set up a sort of dungeon environment. So just look for dungeony stuff, things. Babel. That's a good thing. Ah, that looks horrible. Anvil. Why does that look so weird? Oh, that's right. So just set an anvil here. You can scale it up as well if you wanted to make it a bit bigger. Let's see what that looks like. So, attack him, run away. You can shift and run to run. Kill thing. It must be shiny, I don't know why. Properties. Anyway, cancel that. I'll add a few more little things into the environment, and we'll probably start working on some lighting after that, I guess. I've got street lamps that I want. We want a torch, really. No, we don't want whole buildings, no. Maybe some boxes, standard boxes, wooden boxes. Wooden crate. Some cool wooden crates. You can just, once you've created one entity, you can just do it. Click it again and again and again, and you're going to be able to edit it. So that's nice and easy. It really is quite simple. It's that easy. And then wooden crate. This is a breakable wooden crate, so that's quite cool. So add a few of them too. Probably should have added just them, but yeah, well. Okay. And then I want a bit of variation. I don't want to just add the same thing. This is another breakable crate, but add that there. Dungeons. So we've got some dungeon assets here we can use. Table is going to be good. Set up a table. Torch, definitely want, because this is where we're going to use our lighting. So I'm going to place these torches in some places that make sense. And then we'll use that as our lighting source when I actually set up lighting properly. And I'm going to set this one up maybe just where these columns are somewhere, like that. Yeah, there's a few light sources. And I'll just set them up in logical places like this. Torch. And torch. And I'll add the decal for the flame for each one as well. But I'll do that a bit later when we actually get onto the lighting. I'll probably do the lighting next actually, so if I just like I said, you can just reuse these entities once you put them in there. And just, yeah, So let's click save, just save in progress. I'll add a few more barbarians, maybe a different weapon as well, maybe a ranged weapon, might be a good idea. Okay. So it's just saving everything. Okay. Add a few more barbarians around the the area. Maybe some variation in barbarians, you don't want just all the same, so go to Barbarian 2, got an older barbarian. You can make them patrol as well, maybe I'll add that too. So you can basically make them patrol on a waypoint, that'll probably be quite good. Because if they're just going to be still until they see you, that's a bit... It doesn't really feel realistic, so... We'll maybe do that after I've sort of set up some basics. And I'll add, this can be like a... This feels like a storage cabin, this area. Not the most interesting of environments at the minute, but so I need to modify some of these a bit. Probably I should have left the ceiling until later, but it doesn't matter. We're just doing it rackabye at the minute. Okay, so let's go into playtesting, and then we're going to 3D edit mode because we're going to organise the edit visuals. So let's kill this guy first. I'm going to change my lighting. Oh no, he's coming after me. Go away. They're all coming after me. No! Pause game. How do I pause it again? Let's kill these first. I'm gonna get killed, aren't I? Just let me edit the game. Go away. I can't. There is a way you can pause it, I'm sure, but I can't remember what it is. Trying to edit, go away. Okay. So I want to edit I'm going to die now because my health's been affected. So if you press shift, so sorry, I should explain what I'm doing. If you click shift, you can get all these options up, which show you a bunch of sky types. None of the sky types and stuff is really. But the lighting settings are certainly so I want to turn the contrast like that. I want to make it less bright. Can do these differences, so that looks a bit weird now, but so you can play around with these light settings basically. Okay. So for the lighting, I want to make it basically, yeah, the ambient level of lighting. I think probably darker. It's too red in the middle. I think that's because I've been hurt. Oh, that explodes. Okay, that's good. I wanted to die anyway. Okay, I'm dead. I know. I get it. So if I just click on this again, you'll see that our lighting's changed. I should have done. It hasn't. I'm confused as to why, but. Yeah, now it's really dark. Too dark. Oh, there we go. I just basically made it too dark. Come on, there we go. I'm inside. Yeah, kill me then. These guys are too hard. I need to obviously tweak that, but yeah, just do that. Just gonna die. Just beat you up straight away. Too hard. So these crates are actually explodable and damage you. I didn't realise that. Got away from them. Change the, yeah, it's just changed, maybe make it a bit more blue, ambient's red and just blue. Tweak, I like playing around with this a bit sometimes in these. That sort of looks a bit better. Still a bit too saturated though. I need to probably take these enemies out now. It's killing me every time I try and edit the lighting. Go away, you arseholes. Ah! Okay, let's just run away from these killers so we can just see it. Okay, yeah. So it is quite dark. It's a bit too... I'll probably cut this bit because it's a bit boring to watch for me. It's better. Go away. Go away. That's probably alright. Oh, God. Anyway. Okay, so let's add our flame decals. Okay. So if I go to decals, probably torch one, which is just going to add this on each of these. You can easily access them now, like that, which is nice. Got a little torch decal there, and then I'll add the lighting afterwards. Rotate that around probably. Rotate it towards there. Rotate. Move it. It's a bit. It's not the right place really. Still fiddly. Y-axis. Rotate around. Let's make it all. Perfect. Okay, and then I'll add the lights afterwards. We'll see what it looks like. A bit of an ambient feeling there. Torch flame. Maybe I do need to make these barbarians a bit more slow and ponderous because they're a bit tough. They kill me in 2 seconds. They'll come gather around me. So there's torch here, torch here, torch here, torch here. Everywhere there's light, just like a torch. Okay. Here. Right. Now we want to add basically yellow light because it's going to be yellow. Just like that. Here, probably want to adapt that a little bit. It's a bit too. No, not that. Where's the light? Where's the actual light? I think I just placed it on. Can't see where it's gone. Properties. No, that's. I just placed a light, but I'm not sure where it's gone. Is this it? Yeah, there we go. It's a bit counterintuitively, it just spawned quite far above the ceiling, but whatever. Properties, want to make it a bit less powerful, make it 200, make it a bit more. And make it give applied changes, yes. And then for the other one, we want to go drag it down again. It's a bit funny how it's coming through the ceiling, but it doesn't matter because once you get to the end of the level, that'll be it. Properties 200. I'm going to make it a bit less light. Don't want to make it so light. I think you can even. No, you can't duplicate. Okay, right, and then I'll just do this across these. So let's quickly just see what that looks like with the lighting now. lightnings are rock solid. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think I might change the enemies. These barbarians are just solid. Really tough. So yeah, we've got some light in here. You can see there's like a little bit of blue. Again, a little bit of what do we call it? Lens flaring going off the light, the torch, that fire, which is quite cool. I just need to add some here, and then I think the lighting is sort of okay then. Probably a bit too much, but we'll leave it for what it is. We still have to find a way out of here. Which is this way. We'll create the trigger to end the game next, I guess. And then I'll do some final polishing, maybe change the enemies because they're rock solid. Maybe try and change it to like, I'll just have a look quickly because they're just too powerful. I don't want zombies though, that's the thing. Zombies are always in play campus games. We've got, let's see a few here, maybe one of these creatures. We'll create a mix, so we'll create some horror monsters, whatever, some of these things. Instead of the barbarians, these barbarians are just too tough. Yeah, this GameGuru is designed to just work out the box, so you don't really have to do pathfinding or scripting or AI or anything, so I'm just going to assume that's going to work just like that, basically. We create a bit of variation with some of the enemies, instead of just having the same thing. Make a pincher. It's more like a horror vibe now. Maybe give him a spiky. Maybe the boss, I guess. See how that works. Yeah, a bit easier. Oh no, there's still a barbarian. The GameGuru is a bit basic in terms of the actual melee. Melee's a bit boring. Maybe I'll give myself a raise weapon. I'm sort of just, I don't know, messing around now. Instead of a medieval, not modern. I don't want something modern. Let's go for maybe bow and arrow, crossbow. See how that plays, and then I think we'll leave it after that. I've sort of covered some of the basics you need to amazing pathfinding. Okay, so we'll work on, and then I think last thing we need to do is probably create the end of the level. So we'll do that. So the end of the level is just going to be the open doorway, basically, which is somewhere around here. So what we want to do for that is we want to create a wind zone, basically. Wind zone. I think it's so do anyway. It's been a while since I did this, but these. Okay. So you want to, as soon as you go to that area, you're going to go into the wind zone. Just try and run through to the end. Maybe I can't. Oh, that's quite nice. Some of these crates blow up. Ah, I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed by my own game there. There's a lot of misalignment in some of these, but the level complete triggered. So if you're in the actual game, trigger the end of the game. This is just testing mode, so alas it does not. Let's get rid of this barbarian, and then I think it's done. Okay, so let's get rid of the barbarian wherever he is. There he is. Get rid of him. Play test it, and then it's done. A little quick dungeon crawling game. GameGuru. Got that one. That. Let's try and get this exploding. Obviously, if you're building this to a real thing, you'd want to make a lot more effort into the props and everything else, and make the lighting more consistent around the area. But yeah, this is supposed to be just a quick tutorial, isn't it? How to make a full-fledged game. So it blows up. That's quite cool. Okay, so I've shown how to do the lighting, how to do the building a basic dungeon area, how to make a simple like dungeon fighting game. Like I said, GameGuru is quite a cool little engine if you're just a hobbyist game designer, maybe someone who's just wanting to experiment with FPS genre games. That's mostly what it's used for. So yeah, I hope it's been useful. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. There's a few other things I could have covered, like adding sound, but I don't know if it's necessarily. Anyway, that'll do. I'm a Noir Nerd. Like and subscribe. I usually do web dev videos, game dev, cover my own projects, and also tutorials like this. Alright.